Hello everyone and welcome to today's live lesson. I hope everyone is enjoying their Easter holidays. Today's lesson is a pre-recorded lesson, so we are not live today. So this is a pre-recorded lesson. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making an Earth and Moon orbits project in Scratch. This is a pretty cool project. Let me scroll down to the bottom and show you what we're going to be creating. So we're going to have the Sun and the Earth rotating around the sun, orbiting around the sun, and then the moon orbiting around the earth as the earth orbits around the sun. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to trace their trajectories, which kind of makes it look pretty cool like this. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so let's get going. Let's jump up to step number one. As this is a pre-recorded video, I'll be demonstrating a step and then I will be moving on to the next step. So you just need to pause. Once I have shown you how to do one step, pause, go ahead and do that step yourself. Come back, restart the video, and then so on, and work your way down through the steps of the project. Okay, so step number one, we're going to create a new Scratch project and delete the cat sprite. So I'm just going to open up this blue tip box, click on the Scratch link. This will open up Scratch. Log in if you haven't already logged in. Click on create to create your new project. Take a few seconds to load up. And then we do not need the cat sprite for this project. So if you click on the little trash icon, that will delete the cat sprite. So once you have done that, go back to your instructions and click on done on step number one and get your reward. Oh, I got an Xbox. Nice. And then move on to step number two. So we're going to add in the background. So as this is space, we're going to add in the stars background. So you should be familiar enough by now with adding in background. So we're going to go down to the bottom right here to choose a backdrop and click on the magnifying glass, which will open up the backdrop library. And there's a few different space ones. Oh, look, I can just click on space here, the space category, and it'll show me all the different space ones. So what we really want, you could go with this galaxy one here or the stars one, anything that's kind of just has space and, you know, where the sun and the earth could kind of sit and look nice. Any of these ones here, or maybe you could use the nebula one as well, but the moon and the kind of space city ones, it wouldn't really work in those. So anyway, choose which one you want, and it will load it into your stage area, and go back and mark step number two as done. Oh, PlayStation. So Xbox, PlayStation, I'm getting all the gaming console awards today. Okay, and now we'll move on to step number three, where we're going to add in the sun sprite. So to add in the sun sprite, we're just going to add in a ball sprite, but choose this costume here, this kind of yellow costume, which looks like, you know, a big ball of fire, which is the sun. So what we're going to do is we're going to add it in this costume. We're going to rename it from ball to be sun. And let me zoom in on that. We're going to rename it, the name of the sprite. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in this code to set the X position and the Y position of it. So it goes right slap bang in the middle of the stage area, 0, X0, Y0, which as we know, puts it right in the middle of the stage area. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go into my Scratch project, open up my sprite library, and I'm going to choose this ball sprite here. So when I click it in, it has a number of costumes. So if I click up here on costumes, it will show me all the different costumes of the sprite. The one that's selected by default, ball A, is the one we want because that's the kind of one that looks like the sun. So as we said, we're going to rename this. So I'm going to click on the where the sprite is named here. It's called ball. I'm going to get rid of that and just rename it to be sun. Zoom in on that. Yeah, there you go. So sprite is now called sun. And we're going to add in this code to set it to go into the center. So but let's just place it up here for the start and to see our code working. So I'm going to go into events and drag in when green flag clicked. And then I'm going to go into motion and I'm going to drag in go to XY. Let me zoom in on this. And I'm going to change the X and the Y number. So X0 and Y0. So now, when I click on my green flag to run my code, the sun should go right into the middle here. If I drag it back out, click it again. Each time this code runs, it'll set us to be right in the middle, the center of the stage area. Okay, so that's step number 3. Let's mark that done. Will I get another gaming one? No, I got a Christmas one. Not too bad. Okay, so let's move on and add in the Earth sprite. So again, what we're going to do is just add another ball sprite to our project. But this time we're going to choose the costume that has the blue, kind of like the blue of the Earth. So that's ball B costume. And we're going to set the size, let me zoom in. We're going to set the size to be 30%, so kind of shrink it right down, and then make it go up to X0, which is in the center, but Y 160, which will place it up the top here. So this is how it should look at the start. So the Earth should be smaller than the Sun, obviously enough. So let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to switch into Scratch. I'm going to open up my sprite library again, and again I'm going to add in another ball sprite. Oh, does it say to rename it to be Earth? Yes, so rename it to be called Earth. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, it can get quite confusing. So let's make a little bit more sense by renaming this to be Earth. Take off my caps lock. Earth. There. My spelling is atrocious. Okay, let's change the costume of it. So as we can see, we want ball B. So we're going to do that in code. So to do that in code, we're going to bring in another when green flag clicked. And then we're going to go into the Lux toolbox. So the purple Lux toolbox. And we're going to go down to switch costume 2. And drag that in there. As we can see, at the moment, mine says ball E. We want ball B. So I'm going to click on the little white arrow and then click on ball B. Let's test my code. So when I click on the green flag, you can see it selects the correct costume. So now we need to shrink it down and place it where we want it. So again, staying in the Lux toolbox, we're going to get set size to 100% and drag that in. We're going to change that 100% to be 30%. So that should shrink it right down if I run my code. And then finally, we're going to set it up the top. So let's go into the motion toolbox and get another go to XY. And this time we're going to say X0, which will put it into the center. Let's just run that and see it work. Into the center, but we want to go up to Y 160. So 160 on the Y axis. So we type in 160 and click on the green flag. And there we go. We can see the Earth now up at the top. Okay, so that's step number 4. Oh, I'm getting something from the Space series. Let's see what I get. A starship. Oh, very apt for this project. Okay, so let's move on to step number 5. So here's where it starts getting a little bit more interesting. So far we've just been setting up our project. Now we're going to make things move. So we're going to program the Earth's orbit. So to do that, we're going to actually use some equations called sine and cosine. They're often shortened to sin and cos, which are a ratio of sides of a right angle triangle. So basically what we need to do is calculate the x position and calculate the y position, and we're going to forever change the x and y position of the Earth. And using this equation, we're going to be able to get the Earth to orbit around the Sun. So let me zoom in here a little bit. So as you can see, we're just going to add in some new code to the Earth sprite. I'm going to add it in underneath the go to XY block. So we're going to create a new variable called start, and we're going to set that to be 0. And then in a forever block, we're going to change start by 1, so how fast it's going to move. And then we're going to put in our equation, which is basically going to set the x and y position of the Earth, and as it's in a forever block, it's going to constantly do this. And as we're changing the start by 1, the equation will update to the current position, and then it's going to be able to make the Earth orbit around the Sun. Okay, so let's see if this works. So we're going to go into Scratch, and we're going to create a variable called start. So I'm going to click on the variables toolbox, and then click on make a variable. And we're going to type in START, start. You can leave it for all sprites and click OK. And then we're going to, let me zoom out. Still in the variables toolbox, we're going to bring in a set my variable to 0 block. Zoom in. And we're going to change that to be start. So set start to 0. And then we're going to go into the control toolbox and get a forever block. And what we're first going to do is go into variables and say, change my variable by 1. We're going to change it to be start. So forever, change start by 1. And let me check my code. Then we need to go to XY block. So into the motion toolbox and get a go to XY block. And that goes inside the forever. And here's where we're going to need to do our equations to calculate the X and the Y position. So we're going to need to get a multiplication block and put it in both of them. So let's do that first. So into operators, the green operators toolbox. And we're going to get a multiplication block. Let's bring in 2 of them here. These are the ones that have the little asterisks in the middle of them. So 2 boxes and an asterisk in the middle. So we're going to put them in for X and for Y, like so. And then we're going to get the sin or the sign of start. So what we need to do is in our operators toolbox, there is this block right down the bottom that lets us do different functions, mathematical equations or functions. And it's called abs of and has a block. So we're going to drag that in and put that into the first block of the multiplication blocks, the first text box of the multiplication block. So let me pull them out again and put them in. So it goes into the first one of both of these. We're going to set this to the sign, and we're going to set this to the cos. In there, like that. And then finally, we're just going to get the start variable and put it into both of them, and put 160 in the multiplication block. So into variables and get start, and that goes in there. Get another one, and that goes in here, and then multiply by 160. So 160 into both of those. Once that is done, that is your equation, your mathematical equation for working out where to place the Earth. And as it's in a forever block, it's going to keep on updating the X and Y position, and it should make it rotate around. So let's go into full screen and test if this works. So click on the green flag, and there we go. We can see the Earth just slowly orbiting around the sun, and that should be in a perfect circle. Let's just see if it gets all the way to the top. Lovely. Okay, that works perfect. So click on the red flag, or the red button to stop my code, and go back in and mark step number 5 as done. Doesn't seem to be want to mark. There we go. Took its time. And now what we're going to do is add in the moon. So another ball sprite that we're going to add in, and this time we're going to actually paint it to be a kind of greyish colour, a white greyish colour, which kind of signifies the moon or looks like the moon. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it to be 5%, so it's going to need to be even smaller again than the Earth. And we're going to set that to X0, so in the centre, but Y 180, so just above the Earth when the whole project starts. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go into our Scratch project, open up the sprite library, add in another ball sprite, and we will rename this one to be Moon. And now let's edit it. So if we go into costumes, we'll edit ball C, and we're just going to make this a kind of greyish colour. So I'm going to get the paint bucket tool here, and then choose a kind of greyish colour just by using the sliders. Let's try that one. And when I put it in and click, it changed that to a nice grey colour, and you can see it here in my stage area. So I'm going to click back on code, and now let's add in some code for this. So we said when green flag clicked, we are going to set the costume of it to switch costume to ball C. Let me zoom in, see it there. And then we're going to shrink it down to be 5% of its current size. So bring in a set size to 100% and change that to 5. Click on the green flag and we see it shrunken down quite small. And then we need to set the position of it, the starting position. So into the motion toolbox and get a go to XY block. And we said we'll set it to 0, which is in the center, and 180 for Y, so right at the top. So let's see if this works. Click on the green flag, and there we see it right at the top. Here, I'll zoom in. You can see it there. Okay, so let's go and mark that step as done. Step number 6. Everything's going slow today. Okay, so now we're going to move on to step number 7. We're going to program the moon's orbit. So basically, the moon orbits in relation to the Earth. So the Earth is the center of the moon's orbit. So the Earth is going to be moving, orbiting the sun, and then the moon is going to be orbiting the Earth as the Earth orbits the sun. So we're going to use another equation, another formula, a maths formula to work out the position of the moon. So what we need to do is create another variable, this time called start moon, and the equation that we're going to do, let's run off my screen a little bit here, but it's a little bit more complicated. So we're going to be multiplying by 20 this time. We're going to be using the sine and cosine again of start, but this time we're going to need to add in something that's extra into the equation. We're going to need to get the x position of the Earth and the y position of the Earth. So this one is a little bit more complicated, so take your time when you're adding in this code. Just take your time, do it step by step to get the code in correctly. If it doesn't work for you, just go back, check it against the instructions, check it against this video, and just see if you've put in anything incorrectly or in the wrong place. But once you find it, you'll be able to find it and then hopefully get it working. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to switch to Scratch. I'm going to go into variables and click make a variable, and I'm going to type in start moon and click on OK. Then I'm going to drag in set my variable to 0, but we will change that to be start moon, and then into control and get a forever block, and then back into variables and get change my variable by 1, and that goes inside the forever block, but we'll change that to be start moon, to change start moon by 1. We go back and check on, it's changed start moon by 20. So by 20. And then we're going to go into the motion toolbox and get another go to XY block, and that goes inside the forever. And here's where we're going to put in our formula. So we need to go into the operator toolbox. I'm sitting up on my seat because this is serious business. So we're going to go into the operators toolbox, and we're going to get 2 multiplication blocks. Bring in 1 and 2. And again, let me zoom in, they go in instead of the x and the y. Let me zoom out. Oh, actually, I'm going to pull them back out because we need some addition ones first. So I'm going to get 2 addition blocks. They're the very first ones there. So 2 addition ones, and put them in instead of the x and the y. And then we're going to put the multiplication blocks in the first box of the addition blocks, like so. Told you this one was more complicated. Okay, and now let's check my code. So I need to get the sign of start. I think that might need to be the sign of start moon, but we'll see in a second. But we'll try it both. So let me go back to Scratch. I'm going to get 2 of the abs of blocks, bring them in, and we'll set one to sine and one to cosine, and check my code. So we're putting start into those. We'll try start. So the start variable. So the start variable into both of those, and we will put 1 into here, and it's multiplied by 20, and 1 into here, and multiplied by 20. And then finally, we need to get the x position of the Earth and the y position of the Earth and put them in here. So to do that, we need to go into the sensing toolbox, because we need to sense where the Earth is. And we're going to bring in this, it's kind of hard to find this block, because it doesn't seem to make sense when you see it in the toolbox. It says backdrop number of stage. So I'm going to drag in 2 of these, and I'll show you why we're using these. So I'm going to zoom in, and this block is used for sensing different things of the backdrop or of stage or of of your different sprites. So, and you can get different kind of properties of each of those things. So let me zoom in. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I change this to be the Earth, actually I'll change both of them to be the Earth, we can sense different properties of the Earth. So we can sense the X position, Y position, direction, costume name, size, and volume. So we can get different things. So we want the X position in one and the Y position in the other. The X position of the Earth goes in here, and the Y position of the Earth goes in there. So it's complicated enough piece of code, but hopefully it should work. So let's zoom out. We'll go into full screen and click on the green flag. And there we can see the Earth is orbiting and the Moon is orbiting, but the Moon is not actually orbiting the Earth, and that's why I think I have the instructions slightly wrong. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll stop this. So back into the instructions, I've got start here and start here. I think this should be start Moon and start Moon. So let me try that out and see if it works. I'm going to pull out start, into variables, bring in start Moon, there, and start Moon into there. So let's see if this works. Yep, there we go. So let me zoom in on that so we can see there. The Moon is orbiting the Earth as the Earth orbits the Sun. And that kind of looks cool. But we can make it look cooler. So what we can do, so let me get rid of these. I'll go back to my instructions. I'm going to mark step number 7 is done. And move on to step number 8. So here's where we're going to actually trace the orbits. So we can actually see the orbits, leave a trail of them, a trace, and it kind of looks pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in the pen extension and use that. And we're going to choose our color, and we're going to set the pen to be up at the start so it's not down writing, and we'll erase all. When we press the down arrow, we're going to make our pen go down to start tracing. When we press the up arrow, we'll pull our pen up to stop tracing, and we'll program the C key to erase all for clear, or if you want to program the E key for erase, whatever makes sense to you. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go into Scratch. We're going to click on the little extensions button down here, and that will give us loads of different extensions that we can add in, and we're going to choose this pen extension. Once we click on that, it adds in the pen toolbox that we can use to do different things with the pen. What are we going to add this into? We're going to add it into the Earth sprite. So let's go into Earth. So we're going to say, when green flag click, let me check the code. So set pen color 2, so into pen, set pen color 2, so choose whatever color you want. And let's brighten this up a little bit. So I'm going to kind of go with a blue color. And then we're going to say pen up and erase all. So pen up. So at the start, we're not drawing, we're not tracing. And we'll also erase anything from previous runs of it. And then we're going to program some of the keys. So what did we say? So down arrow, up arrow, and C. So we're going to go into the events toolbox and bring in 3 when space key pressed. So let me drag over here. So when space key pressed, when space key pressed, when space key pressed. So 3 of those. We'll change 1 to down arrow, 1 to up arrow, and 1 to C for clear. So for the down arrow, we are going to program that to make the pen go down. So into pen and get pen down. And that goes underneath when down arrow key pressed. Then we'll get a pen up and put that for up arrow. So pull the pen up when we press the up arrow. And finally, we will erase all when we press C. Okay, so this way we can actually trace, we're going to trace the earth for this one. So let's go into the full screen, click on green flag. So when I press down arrow, you can see the Earth's orbit is starting to be traced. I can press up arrow to stop it. I can press C to clear it. I can press down arrow to start again, stop. So I can even kind of mess around and put it on and off whenever I want and clear it. Okay, so that works. So I'll stop that and go and mark that as done. And now we can do the same thing basically to trace the path of the moon. So this time we can choose a different colour to trace the path of the moon and do the same code. So here's a quick tip. So instead of dragging and dropping all of these in again for the moon, all of these here, we can kind of copy them across two different ways. We can put them into our backpack. So this is kind of where you can store pieces of code. So let me put in the first one there. And then when I click into moon, I can just pull it out of my backpack and put it in here. That should put it in. Does that go in? Yep, there it is. Sometimes it puts it in a funny place. You have to zoom out to find it. So let me choose a different colour for the moon. I'm going to go with red for the moon. So pen up and erase all will be the same. I'm going to click back on the Earth toolbox here. So you can do that with your backpack if you want, or here's another way. You can actually just pick up a bunch of code, a group of code blocks, and you can drop them in to different to a sprite. So it'll create a copy of them in there. So I click into moon, we can see the down arrow is in there now. Let me close my backpack. Click back on Earth, and I'll copy across the up arrow block of code and the C key pressed as well. So now when I go into moon, I should have them all in here. Puts them out in the same place, so they sometimes go on top of each other, so I just rearrange them. So that should be it. So when I click on the green flag and I press the down arrow, you can see both of the orbits are being traced now, and it kind of creates a really cool pattern. As you see, the Earth and the moon orbit the sun, and the moon orbit the Earth, and then the trajectories or the paths of those are traced. And you can see there it kind of joins up really nicely. And I can clear that and press up arrow to turn it off, down arrow to turn it on, and you can kind of mess around like that. So let me go out of full screen here and back to my instructions. Click on done. And that is the project. So it's a pretty cool project. It's pretty interesting. You know, sometimes we don't create games or animations or, you know, stories from scratch. We kind of can create a science project. So it kind of shows you the different things you can do in Scratch. I personally really like this project. It's kind of interesting. It makes you think about, you know, your place in the universe, where you are. Like, we're constantly moving, all the different bodies in space are moving around. Okay, so here's a bit of a challenge at the end. What we would challenge you to do is to add in something different into your project. So you can add in another planet if you want, or you could put in a spaceship or something like that, or a satellite, or whatever you can kind of think of. So that's a challenge. Put in something extra, and then click on share your project, and share your project with everyone, for everyone to see, and we'll maybe take a look at those at our next live class. So hope you enjoyed that lesson. Again, do share your project if you've come up with a kind of cool idea. Maybe you can add in sound effects or anything like that, and share your project, because I'd love to see them. But otherwise, we will see you at the next live lesson. Bye.